Well, hello there, perfect drafters, and here's my second keg review. Just to let you know, that keg of Le Chouffe got polished off quite nicely. Like I mentioned, a couple of my friends came around to help me out with that one, with it being so strong. We knocked it down to 3 degrees because we thought we'd maybe prefer a chilled pint, but with that one, keep it a bit warmer, I would say. Definitely 5-6 degrees at least, just to bring the flavour out a bit more. It did dull the taste, lowering it to that kind of temperature. If you've got one of the pro machines, definitely whack it up a notch. Well, I suppose if you've got the older machine, you might be stuck at 3 degrees, but I'm sure you'll make the most of it. Today, I'm going to review Modelo, a Mexican beer that's relatively new on the Perfect Draft. I think it's been on there about a year now. My first time trying it on the keg. I had a pint of it at the Pavilion in Bridlington about a month ago. They've got it on tap there. Really enjoyed it there. I've had it in bottles a couple of times. Kind of found it a bit so-so in the bottles. So I'm really interested to see what it's like on the Perfect Draft. I'm hoping it's obviously closer to the kind of stuff I was getting on draft at the Pavilion in Bridlington. Like I say, it is a Mexican beer, but it's actually brewed in Belgium. Whether that affects things or not, I've not had the genuine one in Mexico or from Mexico. Hopefully it's pretty decent despite being brewed in Belgium. And it recommends to serve at 3 to 4 degrees. I've got it in the old machine on 3 degrees. I did put it in there. I've been struggling to get down to 3 degrees in some of the weather recently. So I thought if it goes up to 4, then fine. But at the minute, it's quite cool in here, so it's keeping its temperature. Just a quick assessment of the both machines. I did start off with this one and did want to get into some of the more kind of craft beers that were required to be served at a warmer temperature, or have the option to whack it down to 0 degrees if I wanted to on a cold day. I don't do that very often, to be honest, but I do up the temperature a little bit sometimes. Just like having 2 kegs on at the same time. I like a bit of variety. I usually have like a lager and then I'll have something a bit different on the other one. When I first got both the machines, it was like this all the time, but as you can see, the World Cup's about to start. We've got the bunting up. It's not particularly accurate, like in Ireland out there, for example. It's just some bunting we had that looks worldly, ready for the World Cup. If you watched the first video, I did mention I'd probably try and incorporate a bit of snackage into future videos, and I failed at that. I apologise. The app does recommend Modelo being served with some seafood and Mexican cuisine. Maybe that's why I was enjoying it so much at the Pavilion there in Bridlington by the sea. It had that kind of vibe to it. I've got the genuine glass today for Modelo, which I'm very happy about. If I can find it, there it is. So I'm going to be pouring into here, and it is a bit nucleated at the bottom, so hopefully that gives us some bubs. I do like a bit of carbonation. You don't always get it on the Perfect Draft, but yeah, I do prefer that if possible, so I'll be looking out for that. But I think the most important thing is how it tastes. Let's see if I can pour this a bit better than I did the Le Chouffe. In my defence, it was in a really small glass and quite a lively one. This has been in a couple of days, so hopefully it's settled down a bit and it's not going to pop on me straight away and fizz right up. Let's see how it goes. As the legend Baldy would say, let's give it a bit of a Timmy Toppy too. Yeah, I think if I got that in a pub, I'd probably be asking them to give it another Timmy Toppy too, but I don't mind a bit of a head on it. Keeps the beer fresh. That's my excuse when I pour one like that. My neighbour's the best person I know at pouring this. I was thinking of inviting him to pour the pint, but he does dip the tip, and yeah, I'm not a massive fan of people when they dip the tip. It does seem to make for a more reliable pint, but yeah, I'm just a bit worried about that nozzle getting filthy, and especially in this weather, attracting those fruit flies. But that feels so nice and cold, and we're getting some really nice bubs actually. I was kind of expecting it to be not that carbonated, with it being out of a keg, but it's looking pretty good. That nucleated part seems to be doing its job well there. That feels perfect. For some reason, I do feel like when you've got this at 3 degrees and the old one at 3 degrees, this does seem to feel a bit colder. Just giving it another Timmy top or two there. I can pretty much say that's pretty much a full pint now. I'm happy with that. No one's watching, so we're not going to get criticised. Let's get supping it. And I told my friends about the other video I made, and I don't know if they actually watched it, but they did seem to notice it was 10 minutes long. I said, how can you talk about beer for 10 minutes? And I find that quite easy. I don't know about you, but I won't babble on too long. Let's get supping. Yep. Yeah, I think. Well, it is a bit gassy actually, which to me is not a bad thing, but I know some people don't like it gassy, but actually, like I say, expecting it to be probably a bit flatter than at the Pavilion there. It's pretty much exactly the same, I would say, as it was on draft there. Poured in the same way, the same texture, similar kind of bubbage. Yeah, so I'd say the keg is definitely on par if you're lucky enough to live close to somewhere that has it on draft. And that means by default it's better than getting it in the bottles. Like I say, I found the bottles a bit meh, to be honest. It'll get drank if they're there, but if you do have a perfect draft machine and thinking, is it much different on the keg, I'd say it's definitely a lot better. Yeah. I'd say keep it cool at this 3 degrees. I can imagine that would even be good at 2 or 1 degrees if you did want to try it in your pro there and knock it down a degree or two. It's not the best weather out there today, but as I was at the Pavilion, sat in the sun, enjoying this, I'd say it's a good one for the summer in the garden, maybe even all year round. It's got a nice taste to it. A bit like Desperados, but like not as strong in the tequila kind of way as that, but that similar kind of vibe. Just a bit different to your box standard lager, which is kind of like, see, I will set these up. I've got a lager in there, Hertog Jan. I'm going to review that next. Yeah, it's just something a bit different once you border your lagers. Like I say, I spend the majority of my time on the lagers. I do like something a bit different just to mix it up from time to time. And yeah, I love this glass, by the way. If you can acquire that from somewhere, really nice design, really nice shape. I'm not gonna say get a 5-finger discount because that'd be wrong, but if you can find a way to acquire one, add it to the collection. Brilliant. Yep, so I always measure these things in reference to the other kegs, because in a way I'd give everything a 10 if it was up to me. It's going to get drank, it's going to get enjoyed. But considering I gave Le Chouffe, what did I give it? I can't quite remember. It's hard to remember when you drink so much. I can't even remember if I did use a rating, or if I just said it was good or bad. I probably should have watched it before I made another video, really. Yeah, so just rewatching the video, and I just said it was bloody good. And I'll say the same about this. Comparing apples and oranges anyway, Le Chouffe and Modelo. I think different beers for different purposes. You could probably get through this quite quickly. It's very Moorish. It's like, obviously the M's for Modelo, but that M could easily be for Moorish. It's like the Pringles of beer, I'd say. Price-wise, it is often on the offer on the app, I've noticed. Probably easily get it for £30 a keg or less. It always seems to be on the 2 for £60s and got the percentages off there, so you obviously get through a fair volume of it. One of the popular ones, and I can see why. Yep, so I'm definitely recommending Modelo. It's a bit different to your bog standard lagers, just got that kind of tang to it, that Mexican tang. A bit like Desperados, but not too much. I could do like Desperados, don't get me wrong, but I do probably prefer this, especially poured in this way. I'd say Desperados in the bottle is better than Modelo in a bottle, but on draft, yeah, Modelo beats that. I didn't mention the percentage, it's 4.5%, which is not that strong. I usually prefer at least 5%, but it shouldn't really matter, should it? It's just the figure. But yeah, I would highly recommend. Cheers! Let's see how Mexico do at the World Cup. Obviously the first match, Mexico versus South Africa, and this is what I'm going to be enjoying watching it. Cheers! I'm getting another.